Hey, what's up, Raza? Good morning. It's your big homie, Chico Sam. Today, I wanted to touch bases on something that I've been thinking about for a long time, but I just never brought up. You know, we all used to see that, like the murals and the pictures and stuff, like with Che Guevara, whatever his name is. And the first time I knew about Che, I saw a mural about him, like in a Kid Frost video or something like that. And I never knew who this guy was. 2 years later, it was brought up. Some kids in high school brought it up. Che, like. And I'm thinking to myself, who the fuck is this guy, right? And it stayed like that for another couple of years until I saw this documentary. And basically, from what I got from the documentary was that Che was some kid, some rich, privileged kid from Argentina who, and his parents are rich, they had money. He bought himself a moped or a motorcycle or something like that. And he traveled across Latin America. Across, like, from Argentina, blah, 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 the different parts, right? And his main goal, his main objective for traveling was to spread awareness. Basically, he didn't like American companies establishing themselves and coming into, like, South and Central America. He liked these big corporations making money off of people's land and stuff like that. Like, for example, like if Walmart or some big corporation came into, like, Mexico. He didn't like that. And that's how it started off. That was his thing. From what I got. I could be wrong, but he was against establishment. You know what I'm saying? He was against colonization and stuff like that. He didn't like, basically, the Western powers. And hold on a second. Let me pull up. Anyways, he didn't like that kind of stuff. And he was off to, like, spread awareness and put a stop to it. This and that. That was his agenda, from what I got. I really don't remember, but that's what I got. And you know, I haven't watched that documentary in such a long time, and come to find out, this guy's not even Chicano. Here's my point. A lot of Chicanos, like, idolize him, especially, like, organizations like the Brown Berets and stuff, you know. A lot of Chicanos do. A lot of Raza does. Not just the Brown Berets. So, this guy is Argentinian. He wasn't poor. He didn't come from the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? This fool wasn't brought up around that kind of life. He was privileged. Privileged, white complected, dark complected, whatever the fuck he was. I don't remember. He was Argentinian. It's probably my color, a little bit lighter. But when you see him in murals, they paint him a little bit darker. They paint him brown with this little beret, or whatever you want to call that little hat. So I'm thinking to myself, what? Why do Chicanos idolize this fool? And you know, the only logical thing that I can think of is because he was anti-establishment. And he was anti-American, anti-white. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want these people coming in to his land, to our lands, and to, you know, basically south of the borderlands. He didn't want them coming in doing business and making money off of those lands, which is a righteous cause. And I can see why they would idolize him for that. Because a lot of these organizations, once again, like the Brown Berets and other organizations, not just them, they stand up for certain rights and stuff like that, you know? But at the same time, I found out later on in life that Che was a piece of shit. Even in the documentary, it shows where he fucking traveled all the way to Cuba to hook up with Castro, man. A communist, a dictator, a fucking murderer. This guy was involved in all kinds of fucked up shit. But Che, he got a lot of people killed, and he killed a lot of people. So, you know, and not only that, he was a racist and a homophobe. Like, you know, like he didn't like certain people, especially the gays and stuff like that. Man, let's just put it out there. He was a fucking homophobe. He was a murderer. He was all kinds of shit. I can't remember everything that I found out later on that he was. But that goes against everything that these other organizations stand for. You know? The Brown Berets and all these other organizations are for equal rights. For everybody, supposedly, right? They don't like injustices, but, you know, here is one of their idols, El Che, who was a fucking murderer, a fucking communist lover, a homophobe. So, why would they still knowing that, why would they still idolize this fool? I don't. I never have. I never knew who the fuck he was until recent, and when I say recent, I mean maybe 14 years ago, 15 years ago, I knew. And once you start digging and reading the stories and shit, you know, and you read past the glorification and shit, the bullshit, once you see past all that and you start knowing who this person really was, why would you continue to El Che, El Che, El Che? He was such a piece of shit that when they finally caught up to him, they executed his dumb ass. They incarcerated him, they put him in jail, and then they fucking took his ass out for being a piece of shit. He was executed. You know, he was shot. His ass got smoked. He didn't die an honorable death. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, Raza. You tell me. But do you like El Che? Do you follow him, and why? Put your comments below. I want to see. I want to know. Órale.